Jim Gordon. I live on White Oak Lane. I've lived in Winnetka for 40 years, since 1971. And this is my observation, that large decisions take a very long time in this village. We consider everything to death. In the years that I've lived here, I can even think of some of the events that were talked to death and never got anywhere. But one thing that I think is very important, that needs discussion, and needs to be worked out quickly, is how do we finance this? My neighbor on Sunset, who just spoke, talked about a bond issue. I don't have any question in my mind, as a man who's been involved in financial matters and the law all my life, that there's no other solution for a bond issue, and one that will cover 25 or 30 years. We have a AAA rating in this village, and a friend of mine today observed that with that kind of a rating, which is getting more rare everywhere, and may be lost by the federal government soon, even the Chinese would buy our bonds. It's also evident, if you look at the papers, that we can get an interest rate with a AAA rating, which is unbelievably low right now. If we wait a little longer and we talk this to death, the interest rate will surely rise. So we have a village-wide issue. There should be no discussion here about special taxing districts, about taxing people who live in a particular area more or less than somebody else. That should be put aside and not talked to death. There should not be user fees discussed to death. Why not? Because you can't deduct a user fee. You can deduct your real estate taxes and any increment that you may have to pay to finance a bond. But who in this village doesn't want to deduct things rather than simply pay them as user fees? There's no one here so foolish as to say, charge me more that I cannot deduct, especially since our taxes will surely go up in the coming years with the problem we have in the United States and in the state of Illinois. What I'm trying to say is this. Financing is a very difficult issue. It is in every municipality. This is one that can be talked to death, and one that can be analyzed to death. I urge you not to do so. I urge you to appoint a committee. Maybe you can draft members from this very sophisticated village, which is filled with bankers, investment bankers, even some municipal bond specialists. I know a few myself who live in Winnetka. We can sit down and we can reason through this financing problem quickly. That's one very difficult problem. Another difficult problem has already been mentioned, and that's getting the cooperation of 4 or 5 other jurisdictions. That can also be talked to death. And the village board here can spend months and months on this thing. It needs to be coordinated, and it needs to be a serious political process. So we have a financial process that can, if we don't manage it quickly and efficiently, can kill this thing for a year or two. And we have a political process with other districts and authorities who own land that we wish to use. I urge the village to not only work with a sense of urgency, but to elect remedies that are doable and that can be put through quickly, rather than contentious remedies like separate taxing districts and user fees that will only create contention and arguments in this village, one group against another group, arguments of one kind or another. Go directly to a program that you can put through, particularly with all the experts we have around here, and particularly with the wonderful timing that we now have for municipal bond financing. I don't think this village will mind if over 25 years we pay off 15 million or 20 million or 25 million. I think what everyone wants throughout the village is a quick and expeditious remedy.